Hi, welcome to this video. My name is Janlia Riley with Heartful Living today. And today we are going to be talking about upgrading your mindset by uprooting faulty core belief systems. And this is a body code review. So before we get started, just a little bit about me. I am a Sacred Heart energy activator and generational health and wellness holistic healer and teacher, helping others all over the world in awakening and activating their heart energies so they can mature a future filled with love, health, hope through personal empowerment and healing. I'm a wife and mother of 4 and is the founder of Heartful Living. I'm body code certified with Discover Healing, and I'm a board certified and licensed by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. I'm an intuitive healer and hold multiple certifications in energy healing modalities. Also, the co-author of the 101 Great Ways to Improve Your Life, along with the greats such as Jack Canfield and the late Bob Proctor. And just a quick backstory, I first got started in holistic life coaching in 2017, and from working with individuals, I quickly realized that unless they clear the blockages and in their heart, body, and fix any faulty belief systems, it's often a long road to any success. And sometimes, like diets, they just revert back to the old habits. So all my life, I have been intrigued by human potential and enjoyed spreading love and happiness and peace. So I got certified in energy healing back then because I knew that now I have the tool to truly serve my higher purpose for others. Today, we'll be covering what is a belief system, why change a belief system, how do I change my belief system and how does it work? What happens after a belief system reset? And then the different belief system structures. So firstly, what is a belief system in the first place? Okay, we want to talk about the brain versus the mind. The brain is our physical organ, right? It is the physical organ in our head responsible for processing information, controlling our bodily functions, while the mind is actually more of the abstract concept representing our conscious experience, right? Including all of our thoughts, feelings, perceptions, memories, and they all arise from activities of the brain, right? So the brain is essentially the hardware that runs the mind, the software. And a belief structure is referring to the interconnected network of beliefs, right? These beliefs are what individually we hold as essential to our mental framework, which we interpret and understand the life around us. And it includes not just the individual beliefs themselves, but also how they relate to each other, how the beliefs relate to each other, how it's all organized within our mind, influencing our thoughts, influencing our emotions, and of course our behaviors. So it's a very complex system. And we form these beliefs, right, by our parents or family as we're growing up, right? The first 7 to 8 years is crucial to our psyche, our ego that we are building, our persona, okay? And it's also informed by peers, our peers around us, okay? And then these days, as you see in the picture, you know, a lot of the, what we see online, what we see by our peers around us, as well as social media, the internet, and then also the greater influence, religion through traditions or the worldview. And then of course from experience, what we have experienced growing up, the different traumas that we've endured or gone through, that makes us, that makes our brain connect to other areas. See, when 2 neurons firing together making a belief set, right? So why change a belief system? Okay. Well, because we want to get rid of anything that no longer serves us. We want to step into our beautiful selves. We want to serve our higher self, our higher purpose. No longer serve us. We need to make a change. And in order for us to find the change necessary, we need to think about any conflict or friction in our life, right? And this conflict or friction is often where the faulty belief system structure is in the way. And the clues for finding these, for example, could be through our emotions. When we start to feel anxious over certain situations, like, certain triggers that make you anxious, making you angry or stressed or a little bit uneasy. Those are all the little clues to certain conflicts or frictions in your life that could be stemming from certain belief systems, right? That's at the underlying subconscious level, and it's in conflict with what you're experiencing in your life, in the external, in the conscious level. And then so we also wanted to talk about our instinct, okay? When there's a conflict in how we instinctively feel, right? What we feel in our instinct, our gut feeling, our heart instinct, that is a clue that what's playing out, the choices we're making, the things that we're choosing to do is in conflict with our own instinct, and a belief structure is at play, right? So then we want to think about transformational shifts, okay? We want to make a change in our belief system so we can make a true transformational shift. So you can see yourself and the world around you in a whole new light. We're releasing belief systems that your body has been holding on to, right? So after your mind has let it go, it's still holding on to that, and we want to release that. We want to create space for new and empowering beliefs. We want to reprogram our mind so that we can dramatically change our outlook. So this is in an essence of freeing our mind, our body, and spirit, right? So it's transformational shifts for physical symptoms or ailments, mental health or clarity, emotional stability, or spiritual growth and connection, right? So we want to make all the necessary shifts in order for you to improve all of those areas in your life. These are the things that have been holding you back, and we want to make that change. So how do we make a change, right? How do I change my belief system? We remove negative belief systems in the conscious mind by accessing the core faulty belief systems. Again, using the belief code or healing modalities to access your core belief system, we are only getting rid of the things that no longer work for you, the faulty systems that just no longer serve you towards your higher need. In the belief code, there are 4 main layers of a belief system. 4 main layers that structure a belief system. Okay, and I will go through this in a little bit more detail. But the first layer is the negative programs. Then there are limiting beliefs. And then down deeper, we have faulty core beliefs. And then faulty core identity. Okay, so we change our belief systems by identifying all the negative belief systems in these 4 different areas. And we're finding basically incongruent beliefs with ourselves. And you must have this desire to change or upgrade your belief system, okay? You must have this desire, this knowledge that you want to make this change in order for it to work, okay? And again, we talked about, the clues, the things that didn't work before, the incongruencies, the, anger, the little clues that's showing up where your belief system structure may be at play. So a lot of the times when you get into that, now here, you can make that change by having the desire to upgrade your belief system. And then through energy healing work, okay, we are essentially using the mind mapping technology in the belief code, and we're asking the subconscious mind binary questions in order to get to the right statements or the right issues that we need to surface and release. We use muscle monitoring, okay? We monitor responses in our body, okay? So this is a biofeedback monitoring in order to get the answers from our subconscious. And then we simply erase or clear through our body's magnetic field. We all have a magnetic field. So we want to clear the issues that we find. And then lastly, we want to fill any subconscious gap need. Okay? See, anything that we clear, our mind is just so amazing. It will go and do the work and fill that up, right? With anything. So we don't want to do that. Such as the first 7-8 years of our life, as we're going through experiences, our little selves, right? Our inner child, our little selves are filling the world, filling the mind with certain belief structures and belief systems. It worked then, but whatever that belief structure back then may not apply now, right? So anything that we clear in things that don't work for us anymore, we want to make sure that we fill that gap. And the reason why we work with the subconscious is because they're incongruent with our conscious. Okay, our subconscious is 90% of our brain, whereas 10% is on the conscious level. So think about the potentiality here. We're making decisions all the time on the conscious level, right? Trying to think our way on the conscious level on fixing certain things. But that's only 10% of us. The 90% is where it holds all of our memory, all of our truth, right? All of our connectedness, the universal mind. So we want to make sure that we tap into our subconscious, 90% of where all of our experience, everything that we've heard, thought about, experienced, okay? We want to tap into that information. In a way, it's kind of like doing a quick search on your computer for something that you want. Now, you may not have a lot of files on your computer that's related to whatever it is that you need to search. So that, in an essence, is your conscious level. But think of Google, perhaps, right? Google is a huge network of information. Think of Google as your subconscious. And so now, if we go Google to find what it is that you're looking for, there's going to be a lot more information there, right? Perhaps not the best example because, not everything on Google is the truth or correct and real. But basically, it gives you an idea of just the massive difference of information that we're getting by working with the subconscious versus the conscious. Okay, so the belief code offers us a way, okay, to uproot these subconscious beliefs, okay, freeing us of these incongruent belief patterns. And so then we get rid of the unwanted beliefs, we're replacing negative systems of thoughts, okay, and creating space for new empowering beliefs. And the 7 categories, the 7 main categories within the mind mapping of our brain, of our structure of beliefs, are broken down by these categories, and they're basically divine, communication, insight, power, love, passion, and survival. And so all the beliefs that you have are broken down into different hierarchies. There's a few different hierarchy of needs under each of those categories. And they are both negative as well as positive beliefs, right? So first step is finding the negative beliefs. And then after we do the work, if there is a need to fill the subconscious gap with a positive statements within those categories, then we go ahead and do that. So next I want to go into a case study of a real client. this is a belief code session with a male in his 30s. And before I share what the issue or what he came to me to do the work for, I want to just talk about all the different levels of the different things that came up, and then see if you can guess what the issue is. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a game here, guessing game. Okay, so firstly, when we are uprooting a core belief system, the client has to have a need, right? And the want, the desire to make this change. So he came to me with this need, and the first level is the negative programs. Okay, so we get into the negative programs. Think of the negative programs as the faulty statements that are like the leaves and the smaller branches of a tree. So we're going to refer a belief system to the like of a tree. Okay, trees are beautiful, but this is a great way of giving a really good visual example of what a belief system structure is like in our brain. So if I read some of these, for example, I never have time for myself, I am afraid of opening my heart to a partner, I am unable to have a fulfilling relationship, I am obligated or obliged to live by all of society's rules and expectations. My father or mother was not good to me. There is not enough for everyone. So these statements, and all of these were from an actual session, perhaps a little bit more complicated than, or more complex, I should say, than a typical session. But all sessions are different. Everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. So this one had a few, right? So this is at the negative programs level. The negative programs are, again, it's like the leaves and the branches, top level of a tree. And those are more of the automatic thoughts, right? So they relate more directly to the negative self-talk, to the negative chatter that's in your mind, to the things that you often perhaps could even, that would arise when you think about this issue that this person was trying to get rid of. Okay, so we identify the negative programs first, and then we go down to a deeper level. Now we're looking at the trunk. The trunk level is the limited beliefs. So now we're getting into even deeper. So the limited beliefs are like something you believe about yourself or the world. Okay? And you may not even really know that the thought was there, but it is lingering in your mind. And if I can read some of these statements, this always happens. Okay? Is one statement. I'd be happier as a woman is another statement. I can't stand up for myself is another statement. I can't admit what my needs are. Okay? So as you can kind of see, it's getting down into deeper, and it's a little bit more far from what you would recognize as what the problem would be in your mind. Okay, and then once we've identified those, we get down to the root level. The root level is what we call the faulty core beliefs. Okay, the root level is essentially where it's supported by emotions and reinforced by these negative beliefs, and it's like a tangled web of roots that become our belief system. So all of these, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, they are stemming and growing from all of these belief statements here. So all of this stems from the root system of I never finish what I start. I can't let go of the past. And my interests are a waste of time. So just those three, and then it grows into all of that. Okay? Can you start to see how complex our our brain and our belief systems are. And then at the next level, okay, we want to actually firstly look at faulty core identity. The faulty core identity is essentially the soil that the tree, okay, or this belief system is growing from. Okay, and the faulty core identity is often absorbed within those 7-8 years of our life when we're growing as a child, when we're building our persona. And we absorb these ideas and these belief statements without even knowing, okay? In this case, there wasn't any faulty core identity statements identified. That's why it's in parentheses, but it's essentially the soil that this belief system tree is growing from, okay? So once we've identified all those 4 levels, then we check for any associated imbalances. And the associated imbalances are like these anchors, right, that are weighing it down. And in this case, for this belief system, for this client, there were 2 associated balances, and one was a magnetic field distortion in the body, and another one was a color excess, a color imbalance, so basically a excess of a certain color, okay? So all of these we need to make sure that we surface so that it's not weighing down any of the work that we do in clearing the belief system. And again, you can see how complex a belief system can be, right? And just thinking about how complex it is, imagine when you're working on an issue, right, for yourself, you don't often think about all of these statements that could relate to that, right? You might just think about, oh, I'll just go get a massage, get some counseling done, do some more yoga. But unless you identify all of these statements at these 4 levels, down to the root, down to the soil that the tree is growing from, and finding the associated imbalances, you won't be able to clear the whole entire belief system. Again, we want to make sure that we clear the whole tree, not just parts of it, because our brain will start to feel other parts, and the certain parts of the belief system will still be hanging around in a way that is still going to play out in our life and affect us in terms of achieving our goal. Okay, so now I'm going to reveal what the issue was. So the client claimed to me for the issue of anger or quick temper. Okay, now that we know what the session was about and what the desire was to change, okay, we can look at going back to the leaves level, okay, some of these statements, okay, I never have time for myself, those are easier to relate back to this trigger of anger and quick temper, right? I'm not as smart as him, I would never create anything. Like, these are the things that we can sometimes relate to easier back to what the actual issue was. But when we get down to the core, you would not think my anger or quick temper issue is related to, oh, because my interests are a waste of time, or I never finish what I started, right? So that's why we want to work in the subconscious level and really get down to the core root issue and uprooting the whole entire tree of the belief system. And by the way, after the session, he was very happy to report that he was able to control his anger. The quick temper was no longer there. There were certain triggers in his relationship where certain things would happen and he would get into this mode right away. He was able to stop that. Okay, and that is the benefit of changing a belief system. So this is what we want to talk about. What happens after a belief system reset? Okay, after a belief system reset, we have a sense of clarity. Okay, it's like your brain is clear. This cloud, you have a sense of clarity. Okay, the old belief can seem foreign. Okay, you may still have the memory to certain things, but it's foreign. You can go recall certain things, and then it's no longer there. So many clients have a similar experience where before the session, we talk about, okay, what it is that you're wanting to clear, and how intense is it, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is this belief system playing out in your life? Oftentimes they would tell me like, oh, it's a 10, it's horrible, I need to change my mindset, I need to get rid of this belief system in order for me to get to whatever it is. And they would be able to describe the issue that they're having. But then often after a session, I would do the same. I say, okay, take a breath, let your energy flow. Okay, now when we think about this issue that we worked on, how do you feel? And then right away they go to explain it, but then they pause because they have this blank. They cannot recall what it was that they were experiencing because it's no longer there. We cleared it from them. We cleared this faulty belief system from them, so they no longer can kind of say or make the statement true. Okay, so a lot of the times they would think about the desire to change whatever it was, and it's no longer an issue for them right after the session, or it feels foreign, right? And then this makes space for better things to happen, right? Now that you can go forth with your diet, with your, whatever it is, in this case, with the case study, the anger issue, right? Now that he has space for better relationships, for better dealing with things, like even such as anger issues in traffic, right? Now he can just chill and just be able to deal with that. Imagine what a big difference is on a day-to-day life, and how many years he has been suffering with this issue, right? And by the way, he did do counseling and, meditation and certain, anger management stuff. But again, because they were only sort of looking at the surface issues, or they were temporary relief, they weren't really going down to the core root level. So just in the one belief code session, we were able to pinpoint all of the different things, uproot the whole belief system. So we're making space for better. This is an upgrade. This is an upgrade to your operating system of yourself, of your mind. So guess what? It's an upgrade to your whole entire life, so that you can have the time to be happy, to achieve the things that you want to do the things that you say that you want to get into, right? Get into your core self. And, being able to live life in congruency with your true heart energy. And sometimes after a session, it may take a little bit of time for the brain to kind of adjust, right? You've been operating on this system. It may take some time to kind of reboot, okay? And when I say sometimes, depending on how complex the system may be and how long it's been around, it could be as soon as a day. It could take a week, or, a few days. So for everybody and for every belief system, for one person, may be different. And next, I just want to leave off further about the belief code that we use in order to correct your belief systems. There are different belief structures, okay? So in essence, there are different trees. And the images I'm about to share here is in courtesy of Dr. Bradley Nelson, who actually developed the belief code. And before we get into the different belief structures, we want to look at the origin of the beliefs, okay? The origin of the beliefs can be from the self, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier on, where we can influence how we came about with these belief systems. So it can be within the self, so we want to identify that in a session, or it can be suggested, right? Suggested through society, suggested through the worldview, religion, and so forth, or it can be inherited. And a lot of the times, our belief systems are inherited from our parents and their parents and so forth. Okay, so number one, a belief system can be basic. So the belief structure in the case study, where with the male in his 30s with the anger issue or the anger management, it was a basic structure, a basic tree where you have the negative programmings, limited beliefs, faulty core beliefs, and faulty core identity being the soil. So that's a basic belief structure. Okay. Second structure can be a split. This is where you have the same root system of a belief system, but there are two trees split from the same root system. And then next you can have parallel belief systems, okay? And parallel can be 2 to 3, usually two to three different parallel belief systems, where essentially you have 3 different tree belief structures, okay? And then you would do the same thing. You would look for the negative programmings, the limited beliefs, faulty core beliefs, and then faulty core identities, essentially for each tree system. And then next you can have a tangled belief structure, where you now have, instead of one root system, you have 2 different root systems, and it's basically all of the negative programmings and the limiting beliefs are growing from the 2 separate root systems. And then lastly, we have the partial belief structure. Partial belief structures are very common when you've done some kind of mindset and belief structures work at the subconscious level, at the deeper level, but you haven't totally uprooted or completely healed all of the parts, okay? That's why we want to make sure that we identify all of the parts, identify any associated imbalances relating or anchoring, weighing any of those down in order to get rid of all the belief structures. So the partial is basically, perhaps you've chopped down the tree, you uprooted the whole tree, but there are things that are lying around and that are still around, so we need to clear. Thank you. That was a review of the belief code, and in talking about how we can really upgrade your mind. I hope that was powerful to you, and I hope to see you in one of my sessions where we can really identify your faulty core belief systems, uprooting those so you can live a life forward with more health, more love, more peace, and more ease. Thank you so much.